G'day everyone, this is Ben from Ben's Performance Parts. I'm going to make you a video on how to remove the clutch on the E55, SL55, Mercedes-Benz, anything with a M113k compressor. So basically this unit here is what I call the clutch, and it is pressed onto the inner shaft, which is inside here, of the supercharger. Now these two are what you call interference fit, which means that the shaft is bigger than the inside hole of the clutch. So I have explained to many people how to remove this, and some people have a lot of trouble with it. It shouldn't really be that hard, so I thought I'd make a video on what's going on and what to watch out for, the tricks basically. So this is what I've removed earlier to give you a bit of a better idea. So this is the inner shaft. There is a seal here as well. I'll get to that later. This is the magnet, and the magnet magnetizes through this unit, and your clutch on the back of the pulley engages here. So this is what the shaft looks like. So going back to this unit here, which is still in one piece, this is just a basic 150mm puller, and you basically need to secure it on the inner shaft of this, and then what you're going to do is heat this part here all the way down in here, because on the inside of this is where you have to actually expand it. So you have to get the heat right in that stepped unit in there, which is here. So for this, I recommend propane. This is one of the hottest blowtorches I could get as a portable blowtorch. And if you've got bigger, it might work better. But if you don't have a hot enough torch, basically what will happen is you'll heat this up, but it'll take so long that this shaft will also heat up and they will bind. So they're already bound together due to the interference fit. The concept is that you heat this quick enough, it will expand and you'll be able to remove it off the shaft with minimal effort. So commonly what happens is people get a puller and they just crank on it and crank on it and crank on it, and they end up bending this alloy section here and breaking the clutch, and then it's throw it in the bin time. So what you need to do is put enough tension on this that it just starts to load the shaft up, and I'd say it's probably 15 or 20 Newton meters. Just hang on to the wrench right at the head and just turn it, and you just need to put a bit of pressure on it. So once there's a bit of pressure on there, you need to get the blowtorch and run it around this section all the way around it and get it really hot really quick. It's good to have a welding glove available because everything's going to get hot. So what happens is, once you heat this up and it's already under tension, you'll hear it go pop and the pulley clutch will start coming up. Now, you'll feel it straight away when it goes pop, the tension will disappear. All you need to do is wind the tension back on and keep the heat on it. If it cools, or if you take too long and the inner shaft heats up, it will bind. So if you get halfway up and it stops, you have to completely stop the whole process, wait a good few hours till it's cooled down and start again. Because what's happening is you've heated the outside up so much that you've then heated the inside shaft, and they are now interference again. This is where people get stuck. They get halfway off, it jams, they just persist and persist and keep pulling it, and they destroy the clutch or the shaft. So again, this is what the shaft looks like once it's come off, and this is one I have removed, and it's in quite good condition. There will be some slight marks in it, but that's fine. And yeah, so once you have heated this unit up, there's a good chance you're going to destroy this seal. I would recommend changing this seal anyway, because once you're in there, you've already done the hard work. So You can get a pick in there and you can pull that seal out. It shouldn't be too difficult. Most of them leak by that sort of age anyway. And this is what another common problem that happens. So this is a good shaft that the bearing sits on the pulley. You can see it's still got like a bronzish colour from its machining originally. You can see the machine marks in it. I got this one here that was already worn. So this is what a worn one looks like. So the bearing inner sleeve itself had worn. The bearing must have been in very, very bad condition, and it has worn here so badly that you put a new bearing on there and it just slops around and dances around. So that's a paperweight. Okay, part 2. You've taken this off, you've done whatever you need to do, you've changed seals, bearings, whatever you wanted to do. If you're putting a fixed pulley on there, you're going to do that. If you're going to put this back on, the best way to do it is the same in reverse. So you can put this in the oven and heat it up. It's going to have to probably be very hot. I'd say 200 degrees, maybe more. Some people could choose to try and put this in the freezer, but I haven't had much luck with freezing and heating. The reason is when you put the two together, I find it's a rapid change in heat and it binds very quickly. You might have luck with it. If you get stuck, you're going to have to pull it off. Don't try and jam it. It's just not going to work. So basically what you're going to do is this is going to be hot. You're going to put it back on there. You're going to have your blowtorch and you're going to keep this hot, and then you're going to carefully tap it down. Now, I've put some decent marks in this one before because I used a hard hammer where I should have used a soft hammer. Once it is the correct temperature and it's warm enough, it will start tapping down quite easily. There is dowels in it. Now, some people ask about the dowels. They will just pull out. There are the dowels there. They will pull out when you start the job. Now, to put them back in, you need to line them up. So there's dowels on the end of this, and there's dowels in the end of the clutch. Now, the catch is you have to manually line them up by eye before you put it down. Because if you put it like this, by the time it gets to the bottom, there is no chance in you putting those dowels in. You can't rotate it. It's too late. So, same process. Heat, gently tap it down. If you smack this with a hard hammer, when it's hot, all you're going to do is deform this outer side and you're never going to be able to get the bearing back on it. So this is hot. If the shaft itself isn't too hot yet, it will go down quite easily. Once you get it down, let's say maybe halfway, 3/4 of the way, you can put this actual bolt back in it and you can pull it in the last bit with the bolt. That works really well and it pulls it up nice and tight. So there is a shoulder on this shaft and that meets up with this machine section on the inside. And basically when it comes home, you'll notice that it'll be flush again like this one, or just about. So hopefully that has shed some light on taking these clutches off these units. I've had a lot of people get in strife with it, and it's really because they rush it and they don't have enough heat, and then basically the two shafts bind. So yeah, if that does happen, just stop, wait, do it again, maybe try a bigger blowtorch. With the correct heat, I can probably get one of these off in under a minute. So once it's hot, it just is a case of it going pop, and you wind it and keep heating, and it will go pop, and you wind it and keep heating it. Like I said, a welding glove is a good idea, or some sort of heat-proof glove, because by the time you get 3/4 of the way off, it might start to tip or walk, or your puller might become loose, and at that point you're going to want to touch it because you're already dedicated. And if you don't have a glove, you're going to burn yourself. So this whole puller, everything is going to be red hot, your sockets, everything. And yes, you're gonna want to touch something eventually. So It is possible to do at home with a bit of care. You don't need any special degrees in engineering or mechanical know-how. You just have to have the right technique and patience. Like I said, this is like a $40 puller. It's very basic. You can get them just about everywhere. And yeah, this is a propane blowtorch from a hardware store. And that's all you need. You can do this on the car. It is a little bit more tricky, but you actually can get this in around all the gadgets that are in there. And I've done a couple on the car, I've done a couple off the car. It's a lot easier off it, but if that's the only job you need to do, you don't have to take the supercharger off to change the front of it and put it back on. You can do it while it's on the car. Hopefully this has cleared up a few things. If you have any questions, shoot me a message, Facebook or through YouTube, and hopefully I can help.